Everywhere you looked on the bustling SUPERZOO 2025 show floor, there were retailers and brands making connections, swapping stories, and scouting out what's next. It's a sensory overload. Thousands of products, hundreds of conversations, and more innovation than anybody can possibly take in at once. But beneath the buzz and the bright lights, there's a heartbeat that keeps this industry alive. Independent pet retailers. These are the shops that know your dog's name, that'll stay late to help you find the right diet for your cat, and that bring new ideas to market before the rest of the world even knows they exist. They're community hubs, educators, and champions for pet wellness. And they're navigating a landscape where online giants like Chewy and Amazon and big box stores like PetSmart and Petco dominate. At this year's show, we sat down with the people working to ensure independent retail not only survives, but thrives. In today's episode, you'll hear candid insights from associations and brands that support the IndiePet retail channel, as well as from a few IndiePet retailers themselves, about why this channel matters, what retailers in this space are doing to stay ahead, and how organizations, brands, and pet owners can step up to support them.
Welcome to Barking Mad, a podcast by BSM Partners. We're your hosts, Dr. Stephanie Clark.
And I'm Jordan Tyler. Let's set the stage with Todd Dittman, Executive Director of IndiePet, a nonprofit organization whose mission it is to amplify the independent pet retail voice and create programs that keep indie retailers competitive year-round. We sat down with Todd to talk about how IndiePet and other industry organizations are breathing life into this channel through education, connection, and Neighborhood Pet Store Day, a Saturday in September dedicated to supporting indie pet retailers. Let's dig in.
I'm Todd Dittman. I'm the Executive Director for IndiePet. IndiePet is the 501c6 trade association that represents and supports the independent pet retailers and their suppliers. Our mission is to give the independents a unified voice and resources to compete against the online giants and the bigger categories.
So tell us about your SUPERZOO experience so far this year. We got about, almost 2 days under our belts by now, and what you kind of are most looking forward to this year.
Well, SUPERZOO is always kind of our meeting, place. We've used SUPERZOO as one of our two face-to-face board meetings each year. We have an all-day board meeting. Then that rolls into our evening reception, our welcome reception for all of our members and non-members to give them an update on what we've got going on program-wise, and also to just let them interact with each other. This is the chance we get to get our smaller group together face-to-face. This year, we were lucky enough to also have a party on the show floor at the DJ Lounge yesterday, the first day of the show, where we invited all of the retailers who are performing or doing, for lack of a better word, Neighborhood Pet Store Day. And Neighborhood Pet Store Day is the last Saturday of every September each year, and it's our Shop Small Day. We celebrate a reason to go to a independent retailer. So the event here at SUPERZOO was to allow some of our sponsors to talk directly with our retailers to go over, what they're going to do on that day and talk about the specific promotions for the brands. So we've got a lot going on at SUPERZOO, and we certainly try to maximize the opportunity to get together.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Like, building community is a really important part of the IndiePet mission. You build that right in, and really just, doing everything you can to support independent pet. I know WPA, who's behind this show, the organizer of the show, is like-minded in that. We all want to see the independent pet store succeed. And so I'd love to hear just a little bit more about how, you're working through that, not only at SUPERZOO, but, on a round-the-clock kind of basis.
Yeah, WPA, when we first formed, they welcomed us with open arms. They help us, by providing some space for us here. They've worked with us on communications. They work with us on content. And so, throughout the year, we work very closely with them and with the other associations as well in the pet industry. There's a few. And so adding IndiePet to the portfolio of associations could have went either way. It could have been, a battle against the others, but they were all very welcoming and very open to offering their help and support.
What do you think is going well for the independent pet channel right now?
Yeah. Well, the economic environment's a challenge for everybody, right? So they always have to battle the ongoing technology out there that makes shopping different. But what they have going in their favor is the experience. And when they provide, and they do provide, a better experience than just ordering your dog food online and then having it delivered to your house, things that they're doing really well are bakeries, grooming services, bath or self-service wash. Yeah. These are things that keep the pet owners coming back into the stores on a regular basis. And then there's the staff knowledge. The independents are better trained on the products that they're selling. And IndiePet tries to support that by providing all of the manufacturers' trainings on our website. So it's a one-stop shop for any independent to go and get all that information. So it's cliche, but it is all about the consumer experience, and that's what they've got going in their favor.
Totally, yeah. Having that, again, that community around purchasing pet products, because, the pet industry is super emotional. People are really passionate about it. You don't even have to be a pet owner to be passionate about, animal welfare or just taking good responsible care of pets. And so having that relationship and that trust in a retail associate that actually, has experience in these things and has the education on these things, I think is what really sets independent pet apart. And IndiePet is playing, an important role in really amplifying that.
Yeah, once you get into a face-to-face interaction with somebody, you can ask them questions, and it always serves the pet better that the pet owner is more engaged in their care.
Totally, yeah. Tell us a little bit more about Neighborhood Pet Store Day, because I know that's coming up here.
So Neighborhood Pet Store Day, one of the promises that we made to our members in the beginning was to give them a unified voice and to try to drive traffic to their stores, to give the customer that first, interaction and that first chance. And so our marketing committee came up with this idea that, hey, we need one day that's specific for Neighborhood Pet Store Day. So this will be our consumer-facing ad campaign that we're going to support throughout the year. It's one day, but we support it throughout the year. And so do our associate members who sponsor the event. So we chose September because it was the perfect kind of time period in the year following SUPERZOO and gearing up, for 9 months to talk about it and everything. Started off with about 700 stores in the first year. And they were so successful, the word started getting out. And the next year we had about 1,500. And in the third year, we had over 2,000. So it keeps growing and growing and growing. As a matter of fact, one of my board members let us know that during that day, he does 6 more times the sales than any other Saturday throughout the year. And our partners, Astro, have let us know that that day is bigger than Black Friday.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
impressive.
it's a massively successful thing for our retailers.
And they're able to do that, sorry, for our listeners out there, pet owners, they're able to do that through brands having sales or buy one, get ones. They're able to do this through them.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The retailers have to gear up for that too and make sure that, they're prepared for a big sales day.
Yeah.
Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah.
So, mark your calendars for Neighborhood Pet Store Day 2025, which will happen nationwide on Saturday, September 27th. Visiting your local indie pet retailer on this day is a great and super easy way for pet owners to shop and support local, as well as capitalize on these one-of-a-kind experiences that really only the Indie Pet Retail channel offers, like personalized recommendations, compassionate customer support, and unmatched product knowledge. We've linked the Neighborhood Pet Store Day website in the show notes for today's episode so you can learn more about participating stores in your area. And Stephanie brought up a great point in our interview with Todd. Independent retailers can only thrive when brands actively choose to support them. That means offering promotional pricing that helps level the playing field, ensuring consistent supply, fair margins, and prioritizing the indie channel in brands' distribution strategies. Because when we invest in independence, we can fuel the very ecosystem that makes innovation and personalized care possible in the first place. From building community to providing training and resources, IndiePet is helping strengthen the foundation of this channel. But what does the magic of IndiePet retail look like in practice? To answer that, we turn to Lisa Senafe of Earthwise Pet, who shares what trends she's tracking and how her team makes decisions on which products earn a spot on their shelves.
I'm Lisa Senafe. I am with Earthwise Pet, and I am their Chief Support Officer. So I oversee their nutrition program, along with all the support with our franchisees. So from when they open their stores and ongoing support.
So as an IndiePet retailer, what is your philosophy around the products that you bring in store?
You know, we are very particular on the brands that we carry as far as nutrition goes and quality sourcing and as far as the safety protocols of the manufacturers. So we're always looking to see what brands are doing, how are they improving, how are they, bettering themselves and the processes to ensure safety for our pets. And we always look for high quality foods. We try to have a little variety too of, the affordability along with high quality foods. So we don't want to compromise our philosophy or our beliefs in nutrition. So we're always looking to see like what's kind of coming and trending and new and something that fits our stores.
Yeah. Any specific aspects that you're looking for as you vet these brands?
We look for simple ingredients. I think sometimes things get overcomplicated. And so a simple ingredient deck is nice to see and it's refreshing. And that's what we're looking for. I mean, our pets, if they were out in the wild, they're not adding a dash of this and a sprinkle of that. They're eating what they get. So, we're looking for, simplicity and quality ingredients, ensuring that they're good quality products and that they are taking the safety protocols. We do a lot of raw and freeze-dried, and there's a lot of different safety protocols around that. And a lot of food safety testing. We like to hear what they're doing to, ensure that what's coming out is going to be great quality for the pets.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with all the new formats that we have in the market, that food safety aspect is so important.
Right.
As well as not overcomplicating things.
Well, I think too, our raw category is big, but our gently cooked is the category that is growing really fast. And I think that still lends to consumers a little leery still on the raw. There's just a little bit of more cautiousness with the raw, and they feel a lot more comfortable and they feel better that, I could still feed fresh food, but it's cooked. I'm not as worried, but I think that shows that there's still a little bit of, uneasiness around it. We try to communicate and educate our consumers as much as possible for that.
If you had a message for pet parents out there, either from this show or just kind of looking at the industry today, what would that be?
I would say, do your research. Google's at our fingertips, right? Everybody's like, well, let me just look that up really quick. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you're not always getting the answers that you need, or that could be the best solution for your pet. So I would encourage both consumers and retailers to challenge the manufacturers and ask the right questions. And, there's nothing wrong with that. You're just ensuring safety and quality for your pets and what's right for your pet. So, I ask questions, do more research, don't take something at face value right off the bat.
I think that's good advice for anything, truly.
Yeah, right. That can be applied in all life.
Yeah. Life lessons from Lisa.
Yeah, there you go.
Earthwise Pet's philosophy of choosing products that meet both high nutritional standards and consumer expectations is a reminder that IndiePet retailers aren't just stocking shelves, they're curating choices for pet parents. Another retail taking that responsibility seriously is Hollywood Feed, where education has become just as important as product selection. Founder Shawn McGhee explains how they've built a platform that goes beyond retail to empower staff and pet owners alike.
So I'm Shawn McGhee. I'm the president and founder of Hollywood Feed. We're 170 retail pet stores based out of Memphis, Tennessee, mostly in the 19 southeastern states.
And you had mentioned training before we started recording. So it's more than just a store where people are buying food.
Sure. So we have roughly 1,250 associates inside our stores. Like I say, they're spread out over 19 states across 170 different locations. So years ago, we put in a big streaming operation, and we've streamed live education and training. But we bring people in that have the education to be able to speak on specific, generally narrow ranges. So we just had the head of the Heartworm Association came in, and she gave a presentation because we live in the South and heartworms are a very big thing. But it could be the brands walking in, and the brands will talk about their latest and greatest items that they're bringing out or what they're doing. And then subsequently, as BSM came out with various research materials and things like that, we were able to put those out to all our associates, and you have a live Q&A at the end of it. So because you have a live Q&A, you can really have associates at all levels of education asking questions that are generally on their minds, but also the consumers firing back at them.
That's awesome. I mean, I think people forget like how passionate nutrition can be, and reading something or, like you had mentioned, DCM, we hear it. It's from the FDA. It must be true. We must hit the panic button. And the fact that you guys are so flexible and agile to move so quickly, bring in experts, and really educate your entire staff, like that's awesome.
Yeah, so during COVID, we also externalized that platform. So we have what are called master classes now, and we'll go out and poll not only our associates, but we also poll our customers, and we'll find out what's high on their minds. So then we bring in experts within those areas. So we don't sell any dog training, but if you go out and you look at the number one reason that pets are returned to shelters, it's almost always obedience issues. So we have certified dog trainers come in, and they will teach obedience strictly to not only help our own associates, but also we externalize that to our customers, and we'll have thousands of customers that will log in live, and they'll be able to ask about specific issues they're having with their pet, how they do corrective behavior, the best way to deal with everything from crate training, potty training, all the usual things that cause issues.
So more than just food. You are an education platform.
We try to be, we're really trying to help the consumer so that the consumer can understand what's happening with their pet, and we try to address those big major things.
So coming here to the show, are you looking for anything specific? Mostly I'm curious, like what kind of trends you're either hunting or hoping to uncover at the show this year.
Sure. So we start with a general platform of a handful of things we're chasing. So new and unique is always the first thing you're looking for. What's that fresh product that's out there? And that product could be a food, or that product could be a dog toy. Obviously, a dog toy, you have a very different thing you're chasing, whether it be look and feel of that product, durability of that product, large dog, small dog, all the various components you get into that, versus what's happening with food. And food at this stage in the game for us is typically going to be a change in form factor, whether it's freeze-dried processing, whether it's a dehydrated product, or whether it's a liquid product or something along those lines. And when I say food, that could be toppers, that could be the whole category of that. So we're going to look for the leading edge of that, exotic proteins, what's happening in the marketplace with that. Then we're also looking all the time at how we upgrade what we have. So who's got a better quality for what we've got in the product that is existing on the shelf? Those quality standards can be everything from stronger, faster, cleaner, neater. It could be, new research that's come about. So when you look at the research that's happening out there, it's evolving all the time. So if we can apply that back to a nutritional element, so much the better.
So you've obviously been in the pet industry for a long time, and I'd love to get your perspective on what you think has been the most beneficial trend or advancement in the pet care space over the last, say, 20 years or so.
Well, I think the advent of information, I think, is the most beneficial. When you look at the internet and what it's done, it's really spread a universal knowledge source out there. So when you go out and you look at that and you say there's a thirst for that knowledge, and that knowledge ultimately goes to the manufacturers, to the retailers, but it really is coming out of the consumers. And like I say, when we put on our master classes, it's not uncommon to have thousands of consumers. And the Q&A session, if we didn't cut them off, they would run days. I mean, they will sit and ask every question under the sun. The consumer is very thirsty for this product, and they're very curious. And I think that's the beauty of the independent pet space, that our consumer tends to have that curiosity. So I think that, if I'd say one thing within the pet industry, it's been the universal spread of that knowledge, and whether that knowledge is human to human, or that knowledge is via the internet, via, podcasts like this, or whether it be on, video, blogs, all the various pieces that come together to that. I think it's probably been the most beneficial trend in the entire industry.
Hollywood Feed Story shows us how scaling innovation can transform the customer experience. But what about the entrepreneurial roots of indie retail? Those stories of hustle, humor, and community trust. Few embody that spirit better than Dave Ratner of Dave's Pet Food, who shares how he went from running a soda shop to building one of the most recognizable independent pet brands in the country.
My name is Dave Ratner. I own a company called Dave's Pet Food, where we self-promotion here, folks, where we make great pet food at reasonable prices. This is my 48th year in the industry. I know I look really young, but
you do. Had me fooled.
Have you fooled? Right. 48th year. I'm a former retailer. I had 7 pet food stores since 1975. I first opened. So I'm, as they say, a dinosaur here, but certainly a veteran of the industry. So in 1975, after I graduated college, I opened up a store in an empty 3-bay gas station selling nothing but soda, Coke and Pepsi and Hires Root Beer and Orange Crush and Fanta and all these brands. And the store was in Hadley, Mass., which is where Mount Holyoke, Smith, UMass, Hampshire College, and I think I'm even forgetting other ones were. And I was just out of college. I was single. And it became painfully apparent that I needed help meeting women. So I bought a puppy, which works, folks. Yeah. I used to bring Bentley Beagle to work with me every day.
Oh, and it was a beagle. I'm a sucker. See, it
Right?
works.
I would have had you, right?
Yeah. If only I was alive. No.
Yeah, if only you were alive back then. Right. So I used to bring Bentley to work with me, and then I walked into a grocery store behind my 3-bay gas station to buy dog food for Bentley, and I said, holy smokes, there's more pet food in here than there is soda. So I went back to my little gas station, and I went into the pet food business. And as you can imagine, as the years progressed, I opened up more stores, but the pet food business kept growing, and the soda business kept declining. And so that's how we got soda in Pet City, and how I got into this part of the business that Dave's Pet Food was probably, let's see, in almost 2000, we heard about this company called Walmart that was going to be moving into the area, and I needed a way to protect myself from this. And this is going to sound really obnoxious, but my customers trust me. If I said to my customers, this is what you should buy, they bought it. I'm sorry for being obnoxious. Well, my customers love me, and they trusted us. So I called, there was a company called Old Mother Hubbard, and Old Mother Hubbard made a canned food, a chicken and rice food, and we used to sell pallets of it. And then Jim Scott, the owner of Old Mother Hubbard, who we all owe our livings to, came out with a food called Wellness. So they discontinued the line of Old Mother Hubbard canned food. I panicked because I was selling so much of it. I called the owner of Wellness. I said, who makes that food? He told us who made that food. I called the company and said, can I have that food in my own label, Dave's Pet Food? And they said, sure, if you can meet the minimum order quantities, which, of course, I couldn't. So I called a couple of my friends who had stores. They said, we'll buy the food from you. So Dave's Pet Food was born with those first few SKUs. So today we have about close to 100 SKUs, and BSM has helped us formulate a bunch of those SKUs.
But you're definitely more than chicken and rice now.
We're definitely more than chicken and rice now. Yeah. So we have everything from canned dog food. Dogs are wonderful. Dogs will eat the same thing their entire lives, right? I mean, if you get a kid, whatever your dog likes, that's it. You don't have to worry about it. He'll eat that for 47 years. Cats eat a food, and then at the next meal, they look at you and say, I'm not doing this.
How dare you give me this stuff?
Right. Which is why when you walk into the grocery store, you see 450 flavors of Fancy Feast, right? You have sliced chicken, diced chicken, whole chicken, cut up chicken. Cats are, so we have a gazillion cat SKUs. But as of late, we've been coming out with diets that help with specific causes. So you guys just helped us come up with a food for cats and dogs that have diabetes or cats that really need to be on a low carb diet. So that's actually pretty close to coming out, and we have food which you also did for us. If your dog or cat has kidney disease, if your cat needs low phosphorus. So we have a lot of these functional diets.
Function and value go hand in hand in the independent pet channel. We see indie retailers succeeding by pairing solutions-based product approaches like foods formulated for sensitivities or supplements designed for specific health needs with something that online giants can't replicate: unparalleled customer service, tailored recommendations, and real expertise from people who know pets. It's that combination of practical solutions and personal connection that keeps customers coming back. And it's why brands that embrace the indie channel often build some of the most loyal followings. Dave's story captures the creativity and resilience at the core of the independent retail channel. And that same spirit is alive and well today in brands that choose to stay committed to this space. One of those is FirstMate, a family-owned Canadian company with a philosophy rooted in simplicity, quality, and partnership with independent retailers. Here's Lizzie Schwakopf on what sets their approach apart.
So I'm Lizzie Schwakopf, and I am the Pacific Northwest FirstMate sales representative. I've been in the pet industry for 12 years now. Almost 7 of those years have been with FirstMate. We're a family-owned and operated company out of Vancouver, British Columbia. We are a completely independent pet food manufacturer. So we own our own kibble facility as well as our own cannery. Be made in Canada, obviously some higher standards for sourcing ingredients. Take that up a whole next level, and we're also certified by the European Union. And I learned about FirstMate prior to working at Mud Bay, because it was my Mud Bay that actually sold me on it with my then puppy, who is actually now just newly turned 14 years old. He's a standard long-haired dachshund named Soto, and he's been eating FirstMate most of his life.
This is the power of indie pet retail. Great personalized recommendations that can last a lifetime, or a dog's lifetime, at the very least. But Lizzie, tell us a little bit more about the types of products FirstMate creates. What's your nutritional philosophy? All that fun stuff.
So our specialty is limited ingredient diets. We're very much known for the simplicity of our formulas, which is going to make us a great option for dogs and cats with allergies, skin sensitivities, tummy troubles. Most of what you'll find in the FirstMate family is going to be a single protein. Not always, but most of the time. And if it's not single protein, it's still quite simple. And then we offer different lines with a different carbohydrate focus to then meet different customer and pet needs, whether it be a customer preference or a cat or dog sensitivity. We have our grain-free FirstMate line, which is our most limited ingredient line that uses potato. We have our Cassix line, named after the Cassix River in Canada, that uses the exact same high-quality proteins, but we're using peas and legumes instead of the potato, so another grain-free option there. And then our grain-friendly FirstMate line, also very simple, but using high-quality digestible grains, oatmeal and rice. And then we have our Skokie formulas, which are actually named after our founder Mike's very first dog, Skokie. She was a healer. She's very cute. We have this big orange bag that's actually one of our original diets that we've had for over 30 years, and it's got kind of this really awesome retro packaging. It's been so successful for us that we've actually expanded on it last year by adding 2 new formulas, and what separates each one is a different protein focus, even though they're all going to be multi-protein, multi-carbohydrates, and so technically our least limited ingredient, but we're just pulling from what we're already using in the rest of our lines and blending it up to a different formulation population in a Skokie bag. And those Skokie bags are also going to be a little bit larger than your average bag. They're going to be kind of a really nice kind of economy price point for a more budget conscious customer. And the last big thing too about all the products that I just listed in our kibble is we're very dense in calories. And I prefer saying like nutritionally dense or calorically dense rather than high calorie, because I feel like sometimes that gives the customer maybe a misinterpretation of like, I have a senior dog, they don't need a high calorie diet, right? Like, why would I try FirstMate? And you're like, no, it's just about feeding less, having that calories in a more condensed form. So all these great high quality diets, and you're not quite feeding as much, so you're going to have increased digestibility, but you're also going to be saving money, which who doesn't like to save a little bit and have that dollar stretch a little further, right? So it's kind of a win-win for everybody. So I'm very proud to work for FirstMate.
Yeah, I can tell. I mean, you have a lot to be proud of. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, really cool story. I want to talk a little bit about, you mentioned that you're independent pet retail. And Indie is kind of having a moment right now, the rise of e-commerce. And
Totally.
I'd love to get your take on just, from your perspective, the state of Indie right now, how you guys are, obviously you guys are supporting it, but like what your message would be to other brands in the industry, as well as consumers, about like what is really valuable about the independent pet channel.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like we already kind of talked about it in the sense of like being a reliable company, a consistent company, products being consistent, no holes on shelves type situation, right? But you're so not wrong in the way that the trends are now. It's been really tough on a lot of folks with the economy, and, we definitely see that reflected in pet. And I think, leading with passion and leading with education and really doing all that we can to support our pet retailers is going to be the best we can do for them right now. And, it's just a season. Things are going to ebb and flow constantly. And I think our consistency and our support is going to go a long way. And for other pet food manufacturers, I would recommend, getting back down to the basics and remembering those same values too. And again, we are here for our animals and they're so important to us. And this is a very passionate industry. And I feel like not everyone understands that sometimes. And I feel like that love and appreciation can really go a long way.
What ties all these voices together is the belief that independent retailers are more than just stores. They're educators, connectors, innovators, and neighbors. Supporting them means supporting healthier pets, stronger communities, and a thriving industry that values knowledge and trust over transactions. One of the best ways to accomplish all this is by getting involved. And luckily for us, Neighborhood Pet Store Day is right around the corner. So on September 27th, thousands of independent pet retailers across the country will open their doors for this special event, offering not just great deals, but also unique experiences, expert advice, and, of course, community connection. So here's how you can get involved. Mark your calendars for Saturday, September 27th. Make plans with family, friends, neighbors to go visit a local pet retail store. And share the love by posting your visit on your favorite social media platform with the hashtag Neighborhood Pet Store Day. Be sure to tag at Neighborhood Pet Store Day for a chance for your post to be featured by their official account. And if the store you visited has a social media profile, don't forget to tag them too to show your appreciation. If you're a retailer, amplify this moment by incorporating IndiePet's marketing toolkit, found on the website linked in today's show notes, which includes brand assets, social templates, and signage to help you promote your involvement. Whether or not you participate in Neighborhood Pet Store Day, every day is a good day to support local. So next time you shop for your furry family member, consider skipping Walmart and visiting that mom and pop you've been wondering about instead. It's not just good for your pet, it's good for the future of pet care.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Barking Mad. If you want to learn more about BSM Partners, please visit us at bsmpartners.net. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite leading podcast platform or share it with a friend to stay current on the latest pet industry trends and conversations.
We'd also like to thank our dedicated team, Adamiette Thomas, Neely Bowden, Kate Wright, Katie Wolf, and Dr. Katie Miller. A special shout out to Leanne Haggerty and Michael Johnson in support of this episode, and to David Perez for our original music in the intro and outro. See you next time.